The More Money Show with Steve Moore on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Okay, we're getting Darrell Issa, who is a member of Congress. He is another one of my heroes. Usually congressmen and senators are not my heroes, but these guys have been fantastic. Yeah, by the way, while I'm waiting for Darrell Issa to come on, I really mean this. I don't usually recommend books on this show, but get it for your kids. The Triumph of Economic Freedom. It's an easy read. It talks about the mythologies of how a modern economy work, and it is, very readable. The evidence is crystal clear. And when I see people like Mandami being elected, when I see what's happening in Seattle, where you've got this 40-year-old woman who's been elected mayor. She's never had a job. She's never started a business. She knows nothing. All she's done is go to school. And now she's going to run one of the most important cities in America. This is scary to me, folks, that you're putting like a fifth grader behind the wheel of a car going 65 miles an hour. It just doesn't make a lot of sense to me. And when you do that kind of thing, it doesn't usually have a happy ending. So I get very nervous about the idea that the one lesson that everyone should understand crystal clear is that socialism doesn't work. It hasn't worked anywhere. As I've always said, it might work in heaven, but it doesn't work here on earth. So do we have Darrell on yet? We're still trying to reach him. So while we reach, by the way, Darrell Issa is one of the heroes. And the reason I wanted to have him on, if you're following this story, what is happening is that there's a gerrymandering going on in all the states. That's where the states draw these lines for their districts, and they're all over the place. You have one in Illinois that goes right down the middle of the state like a snake. It's like 150 miles long, because they're trying to get as many seats for the Democrats or the Republicans as they can. I hate gerrymandering. I think it's outrageous. And in the days of modern computers where you have algorithms that could just basically put everybody in districts so they're near each other and take politics out of the whole process, it's so obvious that that's the way it should work. I don't know why every state doesn't do that, but the Texas drawing of the lines was just ruled unconstitutional by a federal court. So that's going to cost the Republicans maybe 4 seats. But meanwhile, the California is going to draw lines that's going to add something like 4 or 5 seats for the Democrats. I don't like this. I hate this. Just you put people in the same district where they live by, and put them in the same county. If I'm in the same county as you are, then we're going to be in the same congressional district. I do not want politicians to choose the voters. I want the voters to choose the politicians, right? And so the system is out of whack. And one of the things, Darrell Issa, who's a hero in Congress, they want to redistrict him right out of his seat, because you've got California, which is such a left-wing state that's trying to get it. If they had their way, there would be no Republicans. They could probably draw the lines in a way that there would be no Republicans. Darrell, are you there?
I am, and
hey,
I intend to still be there in spite of my governor's efforts.
Yeah. So you're running for re-election. You've been a superstar in Congress. You ran was it the financial, which committee was? Which committee was it?
I did
Oversight. And you did amazing stuff on all the waste and fraud that happened under Obama. By the way, you and I worked together to try to defeat Obamacare. And now we have Obamacare, and we're finding, it doesn't seem so affordable to me. Does it seem affordable to you?
Well, the general rule is beware the name people put onto a bill.
Right?
Because
isn't that true?
The name often is to defend its weakness, and the Affordable Care Act, its weakness was it didn't provide affordable care, and that's the challenge. Is what you throw money at, you get more of. In this case, you get more insurance companies, you get more expensive health care. In some cases, you get a few more procedures, but what you don't get is you don't get the things that drive down the cost. And that's where President Trump is in the process, along with some people in the House, of saying on his watch, we absolutely have to deal with the cost drivers, defensive medicine, excessive litigation, a much slower process to get medicines.
Yes.
America normally gets its prescription, its new patented medicines. We normally get them about 2 to 3 to 4 even years after they're on sale in Europe.
That's ridiculous. Hold on. Stop, because this has me bubbling angry. You're exactly right about this. So we spend all the money, we develop the drugs, sometimes with, the help of NIH, but oftentimes with private money that people invest, and then you can't get these life-saving drugs here before they get them in Europe and in Asia. I don't understand the logic of that.
Steve, it's worse than that. And one of the things that the president's dealing with and the secretary, RFK, is dealing with is that we want to onshore things. We want to bring them back to the United States.
Right.
However, if the first place you can sell a drug is in a foreign country, and the place that you can do the testing quicker, we're talking about the rounds of
the trials,
of phase 1, phase 2, and so on. Then guess what? It makes sense to build that facility in that country. And so with, call it 70% of medicine being sold outside the United States, 30% being sold in the United States, the first factory, and sometimes the only factory, is going to be outside the United States.
Unbelievable.
And so in order to onshore, we're going to have to change that.
Well, we do have to, and you've been all over that issue, and I appreciate it. And Trump is on it too. Look, I want to delve into this issue a little bit more with you because I feel very strongly about it. Thomas Phillipson, who's a great medical economist, and I have been writing a lot about this. We believe, and I want your reaction to this, Congressman. I'm talking to Darrell Issa, the Republican congressman from the San Diego area of California, is that once these drugs are proven safe, if they're safe, they're not going to kill you if you take the drug. Why not let people try them? Why not if you've got, cancer or you've got MS or you've got Parkinson's or you've got Alzheimer's and you've got a promising drug, why wait? Why not tell people, look, we're not sure if this works, but if you want to try it, it should be your right. The left always talks about my body, my choice. How about my body, my choice for taking drugs?
Stephen, you're exactly right. When we did, the right to try, it was for and continues to be for life-saving, end-of-life type medicines. But where the biggest loophole remains is exactly where you're stating it. If I'm fading with Alzheimer's and there's a promising drug, then why am I waiting for an efficacy study that by definition won't be done till after I'm gone?
Exactly.
Why can't I be part of it? And, we start in these life-saving cancer drugs and so on. The case for it was the people that were part of the trials lived, and the people that were in that period between the trials and the product become available died. And so we recognized it there, but we've got to recognize it with all of these drugs. And this is where our double standard, our standard of trying to prove this efficacy, and really meaning that I can prove that I'm X amount better than the previous one in some way. And I'm playing all these games to do that. In Europe, they're not doing it because they're looking and saying speed to market and let the market decide. Now, the amazing thing is, who would have thought Europe would be less bureaucratic
exactly.
in one area?
Yeah. Hey, we got to take a quick break. Congressman Issa, we'll be right back, folks. This is the More Money Show, and my guest is Darrell Issa, the great congressman from the great state, or the once great state of California. We are back with Darrell Issa, the great congressman from California, from San Diego area. By the way, they're trying to get rid of you, Darrell. It sounds like they're trying to gerrymander you right out of your seat.
Well, yeah, they have. They've taken me from the first majority Republican seat that I had in 15 years, and they put me into basically one that just went 26 points for this Prop 50. But, those
hold on. What is, I don't think our listeners know what Prop 50 is. What is that?
This gerrymandering required a waiver on our Constitution, and they tricked the people of California into voting for it. But I will tell you, I expect to win the 48th. Wow. I believe that the history of people voting what I would call poorly in some cases. In this case, the majority of this district voted for Harris. But I believe I'll still be able to win because I've served the community, and I think I have a level of respect. Having said that, that's not what the governor wanted. This was clearly drawn to take me out, and we'll see what happens. He drew basically 10 districts, 5 that we had recently held and 5 that we currently held, and he made them all either impossible or so difficult that he expects to win.
So they could pick up.
And then he went around the country bragging about it, including going to Texas.
Yeah. So we need you back. I think you will win the seat. You've been an amazing force for good in the Congress. We got only a minute and a half left. Tell us about your number one initiative that you're pushing for in Congress right now.
Right now, one of the number one and the one that we were working on just this week was trying to get some transparency on this third-party litigation funding.
Oh, I love that issue. I love that you're fighting it.
Well, and when you look at the dark money, including money from foreign governments that are not only funding litigation, but secretly controlling the litigation and getting our trade secrets with the litigation, and all we're really asking is for the judge to ask to see who it is, so he can decide what the protective order is and so on. We're not limiting the ability to get an outside investor, but the idea of dark money is just so reprehensible. You need to be faced by your accuser, and you need to know you're not giving it to him.
Yeah, this is something, right, that the trial lawyers are pushing, is this dark money in their lawsuits. The More Money Show, folks. We'll be right back.
Thanks for listening to More Money with Steve Moore. You can hear More Money with Steve Moore Saturday afternoons at 1. If you like the podcast, share it with your friends and listen anytime at WABCRadio.com and download the WABC Radio app. Hit that subscribe button on all major podcast platforms. Plus, follow WABC on social on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and X. See you next time for a new episode so you never have to wonder,
what the heck is going on here?